I'm a street child. I'm a runaway little girl at 15 years old out of Kentucky named Kathleen Maddox. I didn't have a husband. My husband's name was Scott. And he married somebody else and went down the road, and she went to Cincinnati and had a guy named Charlie Manson. I was born 11/11/34, Veterans Day, and my granddaddy was the conductor on the B&O Railroad out of Kentucky. My mother went to prison for 5 years for strong-arm robbery. Her brother had to deal a trick in off the street and put the yoke on him to get some money to eat. And she went to prison, and I used to visit her in the prison visiting room. The only thing my mother taught me was that everything she said was a lie. And I learned never to believe anyone about anything. My mother got out of jail. My mother got out of the joint and put me in with the monks, in with the Catholic monks, the brother monks, there in Terre Haute, Indiana. They treated me like they treat all the other kids. But I seen them as a bunch of old women. So I ran off from there. I escaped out of the hood. Got out of that hood and went to Chicago. Got in the juvenile hall. Cook County Jail, Chicago, Indianapolis, D.C., Virginia. I did a lot of time in Virginia, all over the country. I've been in and out of jails. Out of the Kentucky mountains, when my uncle said, "We ain't surrendered. We're still rebels, and we'll be rebels until the end of time, because I ain't accepting no Yankee school."
My Uncle Jess told me, "Don't go to them schools, boy. Keep your own mind." He said, the mountains here are dying. You got to go down there and get it. I'm just one little kid. He said, "Well, it's just one little world. Get on about it. Do it."
He said, "Don't go to those schools, boy." So when I was 9 years old, I set the school on fire, and I went to reform school. In 43, and I've been fighting ever since. I have been raised up in a different world than you've been raised up. I've been raised up in the penitentiary. There's no weakness in the penitentiary. There's no sorrow or remorse in the penitentiary. I'm only as violent as I have to be. If I don't have to be violent, I'm not. But I was raised up to where if you didn't fight, you got fucked. If you didn't fight, you got taken away and your stuff was taken away. I'm as whatever I have to be to survive. Survival takes precedent over programming.
Survival is the center in the vortex of justice. Laws and rules, regulations are made to serve man, to serve survival. Years ago in prison, man, prison was only to give a man a chance to start all over. It was Christian justice to give a man a chance to be reborn. And the Salvation Army and all them good people would always give us Christmas packages and give us a chance to get back and give us a chance to help come back to society and do right. But they've lost sight of right. They don't even come and they don't even help nobody. They just lock everybody up and wait for them to come out and burn them up again, man. They don't even know what the hell they got a penitentiary for, or why a penitentiary's for. They think a penitentiary's to lock people up, and then they say, no, a penitentiary's to punish someone, and then they're not sure, and then they're splitting their attitudes, and they all put on suits and get in circles and put on faces and lie to each other.
We're all locked in the Second World War, and I can't get free until we unlock the Second World War.
I'm standing here in 1944. They said the war's over, but I don't believe it. No one told me it was over. No one that was in the truth told me it was over. All them liars went down the road and said it was over, but no one that I knew that was telling me the truth said it was over. So I guess it's not over as far as I'm concerned. I wrote Hess a letter right before he died, and he never answered me the letter, but he sent me a word. And the word he sent me, he gave me a name. He said I was Abaraxis. He sent me that. He said that was who I was. He gave me that name.
I've been in jail since 1943. I live in jail. Like a lot of kids. They get busted when they're 8 and 10 years old because they don't have no parents. The jails are full of them. Are they full of them? They're full of kids that don't have no place else. That's daddy right there. I didn't have no parents. Well, you don't have any parents, you got nobody, there's no place else to take you off the street and throw you somewhere. I've been in here since I was 9 years old because I didn't have any parents. There's a line that the judge sets on. There's a premise of crime. that the Supreme Court sits on, that the government and the crosses sit on. I have been behind the judge since 1943 in the infinite consciousness of those black robes. 1944, I went into a judge that was the same judge that was in Nuremberg, that was hanging Waffen soldiers over there in the war. I stayed in the judge's robes under Dr. Hartman. I'm like his little boy. He raised me all my life. Everything I know, I got inside. I don't have any parents. I don't have mothers and fathers and family unit like you guys do, you dig? I live in prison. I was raised inside the judge's body. I'm in the judge's robe. I've been on record, all my life's been on record, and I'm not violent. I learned that whatever you put out, you get back. And I don't like to be hurt, so I'm not going to hurt anyone. 1944, I went to juvenile hall. I didn't get out till 1954. I got a little girl named Rose, stole some guns, went to Georgia, burglarized a store, got a straw hat full of dimes, and came to L.A. I turned 21 years old in the L.A. County Jail. I wasn't out but a hot second. I've been in jail all my life. See, I never realized that people outside are much different than the people inside. People inside, if you lie, you get punched. You get misused. You don't lie to the lieutenant. Lieutenant don't lie to you. There's a certain amount of truth in prison. And being raised in prison, I was raised pretty much in the light of that truth. Probably, if you notice, people that tell the truth generally act like they're kind of retarded. Mentally retarded people I can communicate with real good. And decent dumb people, man, we talk like crazy, you know? In other words, I'm all right with those. And kids, I'm okay with. But when you get grown up, then there's a lot of problems. I don't get along too good with grown-ups. And they get me in trouble. People get me in trouble because I don't have the mental capacity to adjust to the outside. And when I get out there, I'm like a little kid. I'm like a little baby in a lot of respects, you know. And when I got out, all your children would come to me because they never had anybody to tell them the truth.
All this stuff about Charles Manson, the guru, the person that people follow, is that true?
Sure. I get out of jail, and these kids come around me. Yeah. They say, "You're God. You have the voice of God." And I say, there's a whole penitentiary of guys like me. You know, I'm nothing. I'm just a messenger. I'm a witness, that's all. I'm just a poop butt that dropped out of the penitentiary. And they seen something in me I didn't see in me. They seen a nice guy. And I'm not a nice guy. I agree. But they seen that. So I said, well, as long as they seen the nice guy, I'll reflect the nice guy. I'll be the nice guy to them. So I played as much nice guy as they could deal with. And I held the line of nice guy. And I looked out for everybody, and I gave them places to stay, and I kept all the other not-so-nice guys off of them. Because I like the kids, because I can identify with the kids, because they didn't have nobody like I didn't have nobody. Right. So I kind of identify with that balance, Jake. So they come by, and we sing songs, and we were all singing together, and they say, wow, man, you got a different kind of voice. Call it Jesus, call it Muhammad, call it Boogie Box, call it Nuclear Mind, call it Blow the World Up, call it Your Heart, call it whatever you want to call it. It's still music to me. It's there. It's the will of life. Your music is Barry Manilow and all them ooh pop pop, and they sing it to little girls for $1.25. I'm singing up where God rolls. I'm singing up in the top echelons of the music. It kind of reaches in there and breaks all the pattern in your brain. I admit I influenced everybody out there at that ranch. The reason that there was a lot of girls around that place is because I play music. And I play pretty good music. They say that I was a leader in a family of people, which is bull. That's bunk. I had a lot of friends because I play a lot of music. A lot of people like my music. And we were all friends. There was no such thing as follower, leader. There was no leaders or followers. There was just people, intellect, intelligence. There were people, intelligent life forms. And all the girls sang in the music group. And all the guys played in the music group. It had nothing to do with a cult. It was a music group. We played a lot of music. We wrote, we did a lot of things, but we lived today. We lived in the day and the now.
You had them thinking you were Jesus Christ. How did you do that?
just being myself. All men are Jesus Christ. Life is God. All life. Bugs, birds, trees, everything that's alive is God. The sun is God. But we've got God over here on a cross. We've got a dying man over here on a cross, and we're all kneeling down hoping that if we die, there's a better place somewhere else. Well, you got a whole bunch of people hoping that they die creates a hell of a big energy. And I call it a death wish. It's mother's death wish. It's what everybody's going towards dying, like the Vietnam War when they wanted to blow the world up. So if I'm standing out in the middle of the desert and I get out of jail and I see the desert's dying, the bees are dying, the birds can't live, the trees are dying, the smog is killing everything, and I say, wow, where's my life on this planet? Can I survive on this planet Earth? That's what I'm working for. I'm working for my survival on that piece of dirt. It took me 20 years to get out of these damn penitentiaries, to get down on that ground. Now that I'm on that ground, I'm thinking about surviving on that ground. I don't care about your society. I reflect the will of God, son. You can have anything I got. Susie followed me around, and she was always trouble. She would steal, she would lie, she'd do all kinds of crazy things. And the only thing I could do, see, you got to realize, the woman's got the thing over the man. The woman sends these guys to work every day. The woman puts it on the road. All she's got to do is call the police, and they'll lock me up for her. So all these cops work for the woman. It's like the guy coming, he says, I'm taking this broad here. He said, I'm the man. I told him, okay, be my guest. He said, I'm taking this broad. I said, okay. He said, come on. Susie jumped up and said, you put your hands on me, be the sorriest day you live. He turned back to me and he said, tell this broad to go with me. I said, I don't tell that broad nothing, man. He said, why? I said, if I tell her to go with you, she'll have to put me back in the penitentiary. I'm not going back to jail for you. If you can't get over on that broad, man, don't come bring that old weak-ass shit to me. So he pulls his knife and wants to stab me. And I said, it's kind of silly, ain't it? You know, you can't get your balls out of that broad, so you want to come get your nuts out of me. Man, let's go back to your mother and find out who took your balls. I didn't get your fucking nuts, man. And I'm hiding in behind his guitar, and he's stabbing at me, Dick. So every time he stabbed me, I cut him a little bit. And I said, man, you're only cutting yourself here, man. I got no bad going against you. What do you keep stabbing at me for, man? You trying to prove something to yourself? Go look in the mirror, man. I have nothing against no one unless they got something against me. You come up and say hi. I say hi. You say, I like you. I say, well, I like you. You say, well, I don't like you. I say, well, I don't like you. In other words, however you reflect to me is what I'm going to reflect back to you. I don't care what color you are, where you're from, or what you're doing, what race you are. If you like me, I like you. If you don't like me, I don't like you. You swing at me, I'll swing back. You dig? You cut at me, I'll cut you. What's it got to do with me? You want to be a whatever man is, you know what I'm saying? A man, I'm a lizard on a rock, man. I'm a coyote or a bug in the bushes, man. Why I got to be a, I don't live in that world you live in. I wouldn't, I don't have nothing to do with that world. I drove them Cadillacs through town, you dig? I have 9 pockets full of money looking around thinking, wow, what's next, That's a bigger jail than the one I'm in. Your lifestyle has got you thinking crazy. You support yourself. I got figs over here, I got raisins over there, I got pine nuts over there, I got pockets full of everything you can eat, I got all I can eat, and where I'm laying down is where I'm sleeping. It's only real to the people who work for it. The people that don't need to work for money, it's a monopoly game. It's a game of paper. It's all on paper. I've got a production company, and I've got a recording company, and I've got a mansion in Beverly Hills, and I've got Rolls Royces and Ferraris. I've got everything money can buy, but it's all on paper. I've had all the money in the world 3 times. I had to give it back to keep the game going. What did Tex do? He came to town. Here's a yokel coming in Hollywood. He got a pocket full of money and a pickup truck. He got in with them fast girls, and they took everything he had. And he's running around with a pickup truck. I look over the edge of my game, and I see that pickup truck. I want that pickup truck. He said, I want to join. Can I come and live up here with you people? And I said, can you come up here and live with us? And he said, yeah. I said, can I have your pickup truck? And he said, yeah. So he gave me the pickup truck. So I felt responsible for him. So I let him clean the barn out. I let him do little funky jobs around, see? I'm walking on one road, he's walking on another, and he's looking, and he's seeing what I'm doing, and he's gaining strength inside of himself. When I show you something once, you know it's there. You've seen it. It's in your soul. It becomes a part of you. When you peak the peak and you touch the ultimate, then you walk with the ultimate in your soul forever, man. So he comes up to me and says, well, this guy beat me for my money, what should I do? I said, whatever you feel is right. Should I go get it back? I said, if you're big enough, go get it back. If not, sit down and forget it. He said, what would you do? I said, what is it? He said, $5,000. I said, well, it might be big enough to go get it. If you're big enough to go get it, go get it. So he went down and beat some broad for the money. The broad had beat him for his money. He just got his faith back, went back and beat the broad for her money. Then he comes to me, he runs and hides. They call me and say, where's my money, son of a bitch? Woo-woo. I said, man, I got that. I go check that to my door, man. Go down there and face it. Oh, they'll kill me, they'll kill me. And he ran. Left me to face his responsibilities. You dig? So I take a gun, I have to go down there, and I have to get nasty with people, dig? I have to put it in line. I have to say, look, man, I don't know nothing about no money. We'll burn that ranch down and kill everybody else. No, not my friends, you won't. You dig? I said, we went through a lot of changes, so I ended up shooting that dude, you dig? Then when come back around, he owed me one. If I face death for you, right. You dig what I'm saying? You owe me that. So then Bobby had some hassle, and I got in an altercation with somebody else over him, and then with some other bikers, and then the cops were raiding us all the time. Tex went to pay the brother back. When he went to pay the brother back to get Bobby back out of jail, you dig what I'm saying? They said, we'll go get a lawyer. And they said, get a fucking lawyer for what? All the lawyers do is lie and take the money, you know? Lawyers are not doing anything but for themselves, dig? I said, you do what's best for you. You do what you feel is right. You do what you think is right. Now, whatever you think is right, it's got to be right. All I'm doing is I'm walking with you, I'm walking the line with you, and I'm holding the line with you. What you do is up to you. It's got nothing to do with me. I keep it off of me with motions and force fields, dig? In other words, I don't really get involved in that. When people come up to me and they ask me what to do, I say, you do what your love tells you to do. So they said, well, we'll make the murders keep on looking like it was keep on keeping on. You dig what I'm saying? So it jumped off into who was doing wrong. Who had the little black phone book from New York City that wasn't paying their debts over in Brother Recording Company. They came to the ranch, lady. I didn't go to them. They came to me. You're stealing my music every day. You're writing my songs. You're playing my game. When Brother Recording Company from the Beach Boys was taking music that was coming out of the penitentiary and singing, in my room, I'm putting out good vibrations. And then you come up on the set and you say, where's my money? And they say, oh, you don't have any money coming. I said, what you mean I don't have any money coming? You'll pay me. Give me what I got coming. Don't give me no more than what I got coming, but pay me what I got due. And they won't give me my dues. When they broke their words, I'm talking about Melcher, when he broke his word, he didn't do what he said he was going to do. I said, okay, you don't give me my dues. I'll call New York. I'll call New York.
Bring it back to your disciples.
I ain't got no fucking disciples.
Bring it back to the kids that thought you were a nice guy.
Did you ask them to die for you? Would they die?
Sure. That's basic Christian philosophy. If you're not willing to die for something, then you're not willing to kill for something. If a soldier puts his life on the line, he's willing to die for what he believes in, then that gives him the dispensation from God to take life for what he believes in. When you go to war against an enemy, you go to war for God and country, and you give your life to that cause.
So that night they were going out to fight the war?
They were going out to fight the war.
Did you tell Tex Watson what to do?
No.
Did you tell the women to go with him and do what he said?
Yeah, I told them to go do what Tex said. Yeah.
Why? Why were you telling them that if you didn't even know what he was going to do?
That's the line I was walking. And they said, how do we do it? I said, don't ask me how to do it. I don't want to be no part of no conspiracy. But however you do it and get it done now. If it don't get done, then I'll move on it. Do it. Get it done.
That's your tactic.
Guilt.
To say that you stayed clear of it when you were responsible.
I did stay clear. I did stay clear of everything.
But they say you didn't because they were acting for you on your instructions.
No.
And under your influence.
Well, maybe influence, and they might have thought it was my instructions, but I wasn't directing traffic, lady. I said, if you're gonna do something, leave something with you. Just like I would tell you, if you're going to do something, do it well. And leave something with you. Leave a sign to let the world know that you were there.
Susan Atkins come home to you, bloody hands.
Yeah.
She says, Charlie, look what I did for you.
Yeah. So I give you the world.
I
just killed myself and I give you the world.
So, how'd you react?
I say, you dumb fucking cunt, I already had the world. You just put me back in jail again. And that's what she did. She put me right back in jail.
They said you asked, do you have any remorse?
Yeah, I did say that to him. I said, "Do you have any remorse for your actions? If you're going to go to war and you're fighting your enemy and you kill him when he's afraid, you know, it's a bad omen. It's bad." And I seen a guy sitting on the couch. And I laughed at it. He said, "Hi." I said, "Hi." And text came in. I told the other dudes, "I'll see you later, man. You know, like, I'll catch it on the run, man. I'm gone, man." And I split, man.
Why did you leave? Why did you leave them there?
Okay. I keep a close watch on this heart of mine. I walk a line.
You knew murder was going to take place and you weren't going to be there.
I don't think about murder.
Is that why you left?
No, that ain't why I left. I left. What? I don't know what I was thinking. I left because I left.
You knew nothing about it?
I didn't know. I did not know. The women I don't got to tell them what to do. If I got to tell them what to do, I'll set them up on the highway and get them away from me. I don't deal with women I got to tell them what to do. They know what to do. If they don't know what to do, they better stay away from me.
And in your case, they knew to kill.
They knew to take care of me.
They knew to kill
They knew to look out for number one.
They knew to kill for you.
No, kill.
They knew to kill pregnant women.
You still, why don't you and the DA get in the bed together, man?
Because the whole country's the DA in your case, man.
Oh, no. He made $600-700 million on the idiocy of the public.
And you left a bloody trail around.
No.
Who else knows what else you did?
Whoa, I said, you haven't seen the bloody trail yet. You haven't seen the bloody trail yet.
What do you mean?
Oh, it's been worse than that. You think, them 9 was just the first little marbles in the bucket. There's a whole row of people out there that's been getting killed. I tell you like this. Yeah, I chopped up 9 hogs, and I'm going to chop up some more of you motherfuckers. I'm going to kill you as many as I can. I'm going to pile you up to the sky. I figure about 50 million. If I could get about 50 million of you, I might be able to save my trees and my air and my water and my wildlife.
You want to kill 50 million people?
Well, that's just a drop in the bucket to what's really coming. Yeah, that's just a drop in the bucket to what's really coming.
There's 9 dead people out there.
There's a lot more than 9, son. A whole lot, and there's going to be a lot more.
You want to make your confession now?
Confession for what? What do you want me to confess to?
The others. A lot more than 9. How many more than 9 are there?
Well, I think Tank got his brains blown out for lying, didn't he? A couple snitches, they got found burnt to death over there in Sacramento in the trunk of that car. I think there's a whole row of people that's dead out there because they're out of balance. They're not in line. When Lino Badianca got stabbed all up and all that gold and all that stuff was laying all around, the little black phone book from New York hit list was gone. That came off the top of another penitentiary in Leavenworth, Kansas. They come off the top of that poker game over there in Nevada, over where the divorce courts are running down through Denver and all that. In other words, there's a lot more to this road than you see. See?
Why did those girls murder for you? Why did Tex
They didn't murder for me.
You told them to.
No. Come back, DA. Come back. That's not reality.
What is?
No, reality is they did what they did. They're responsible for their own actions. I'm responsible for my actions. I live in the truth with mine. If somebody else comes up and lies on theirs and they're snitching to that cop and they're writing notes and they get busted and they get their throats cut, hey, what can I say? They say, you made it happen. I didn't make nothing happen, man. I can only be responsible for one human being. My own self. I don't justify or not justify. I lay it out there. What people do with it's their business. If they decide to run up and kill Sharon Tate, that's on them.
And these were people that you had talked about helter-skelter. You had talked about bringing the vengeance of the world down on people. You had told them.
Sure.
You had told them that to kill others was to give them life.
Yeah, exactly.
But you didn't expect them to go out and do this.
No. Wait, whoa. I don't live in anticipation, woman. I live on now. I'm in harmony with the truth. I didn't kill anyone. A guy comes up to you and he's freaking out and he's going through changes and he says, I'm going crazy. I'm having it. I say, relax, man. Everything's all right. No, my mother, she's doing this. She's happening. I said, everything's cool, baby. Be cool. Maintain. Sit down. Relax. Everything's all right. He said, is? I said, sure, it's all right. Everything's perfect, man. Get in harmony with life and relax. He said, really? I said, yeah. He said, everything's beautiful, isn't it? I said, yes, it is. An hour later, he come back and he said, I killed him. I said, what the fuck you come and tell me for? He said, well, you said everything was okay. You said everything was perfect. You said I couldn't do any wrong. I said, what I meant was maintain, man.
Bring it back to how in the universe, Charlie. Did they misunderstand you to the extent that they would slaughter innocent people?
All right. There was no innocent people to start with.
Why do you say Sharon Tate wasn't an innocent person?
Wait a minute. Wait,
No, wait, Charlie. I can't let you get away with that shit.
Terry Milcher was supposed to do some things with music he didn't do.
So?
Terry Milcher lived in that house.
So?
Nobody knew Sharon Tate lived in that house. Tex took responsibility for that, man. And you read his book, he said he did that. He said he did it because he thought that's what I wanted him to do. I never told him to do anything. I told him, do what you know is right. Like I would tell any human being, do what you know is right. Do what you feel is right inside of you.
So killing Terry Melcher was okay?
No. He broke his word, man.
So you went looking for him?
I didn't go looking for anyone.
The girl
no. See, there again, you don't understand it.
For years, you were the personification of everything evil, everything rotten in this country.
Yeah, you dumped it all off on me. I was your goat.
We believe in sin.
Jerry Rubin, A.B. Hoffman didn't do a day. But they were the ones that were saying, raise up and kill your mom and dad, kids.
Leslie said, yeah, I killed her. And he said, why did you kill her? I said, I killed her to stop the war. Said, what did you think about when you killed her? Well, I said, at least you won't be sending your kids to war.
Everybody jumped up, man, and tried to change this damn thing. Everybody screaming for change. Everybody begging for change. All the Jane Fondas and the Joan Baez's and all the Beatles and all them guys were all talking about love and peace and understanding. But then when it came time that someone had to do something about it, then the children, they said, do it, children, do it in the road. So the children jumped up and did it. And who did you blame? You blame some poor old hobo on the road. I'm a hobo out here on the railroad. I ain't got no aspirations to do nothing, but I know, I see, I'm aware, I understand.
All these demonstrators, they'll run out and demonstrate for a nuclear power plant and go home and turn the electricity on.
Now, where does love become love? Is love only love if it doesn't go in the battlefield? Does love put on a uniform and take up a gun and go into war for its country? Is love a retired veteran that limps around and wheels in a wheelchair and his guts are in a bag because he fought for his God and his country? I mean, where do you draw the line on what love is and what love is not? You go to the graveyard and you look at all the martyrs of the heart and all the men that have given their lives for God and country, and then you come up and say, well, where did Charlie go wrong? Did Charlie go wrong? Or was the ocean of the spiritual movement in the world to bring change into this planet, did it start way before Charlie was born and everybody else is wrong? And could you say that Hitler was right, that when he got out of prison he woke up that everybody was buying and selling life and there was no one there? It was just a bunch of hamburgers in the butcher shop, a bunch of meat hanging up, because the United States can't even kill their own cows. They got to import people to kill the cows. They don't have enough fucking soul to change and help their own children. They can't even forgive their own children. They'll let the fucking world bring people and empty prisons from India, empty prisons from Cuba, from Latin America, from Puerto Rico. They empty prisons from all over the world into the United States, and the United States can't even forgive their own children for doing exactly what they raised them up to do.
Why don't we do it in the road? And then all these kids are out here doing it in the road, you dig? And then you're singing all that stuff and saying, well, it's all Charlie's fault. Hey, man, I didn't write the songs.
You tell him, baby, won't you light my fire? Baby, won't you light my fire? And then the kid grows up, and what's he start doing? He starts lighting fire. You say, no good kid, firebug. And throw him in reform school.
You get stuck with it because you left a trail of dead bodies.
I didn't leave a trail of dead bodies,
Charlie,
man.
stop bullshitting me.
When you think I lied, then that's because you got a lie in your heart. And then you come back and say you got heart, but you got no heart with lie. The lie beats your heart beats in the truth, man.
See, the truth is honor. Honor is the truth. Without either, you're both in trouble.
You probably lie every day of your fucking life.
You see what I'm saying? In other words, if you're lying, you're not lying to nobody but yourself. Nobody else cares. I was the only guy that cared. I was the one that picked the kids up out of the streets and gave them a little place to stay. But I learned better than that. Each one of those people that you call my family, they were geniuses. They all had college educations. Every one of them was very smart young people. They were a generation of the 60s. I wasn't a generation of the 60s. I'm a Bing Crosby fan, not a Beatle fan. I'm 55 years old, man, 53, 54, I'm up in the 50s. I'm not a teeny bopper. Yeah. I'm not a teeny bopper guy.
The Beatles were like punk rock is to you. That's what the Beatles was to me. You know, that's not my era. You guys make me into be something I wasn't. I never had a beard or long hair in my life.
It wasn't that Manson turned, it's that you guys turned, see? Here's the perception. You think the Grateful Dead was the hippies. The Grateful Dead wasn't hippies. All the people that got busted in the 40s were the hippies. The Pachucos were hippies. All the guys that used to smoke grass in the 40s and 50s all went to prison and suffered. And then the upper middle class people come out and found that what they were doing was cool, so they started doing what was cool and started using our language and rapping our rap and talking our talk and walking our walk and growing our hair and growing our beards, and then coming back from the beatnik land like they were hippies, like they had come up on something new. Then they sacrificed all the beatniks, and that created the hippies. Then they sacrificed all the hippies, and that come up the yippies. And every time it gets right up to where the Jew's supposed to sacrifice himself for what he's preaching, and the people that are in the peace movement are supposed to make moves so they can have peace, they all turn back to war and get uniforms and get crew cuts and go to Wall Street and say, well, we done growed up now. We're not hippies no more. We're dippies or slippies or what do they call them? Yippies. We're yippies now. And then we fight for a group of people to help bring change and off the oppressor and get him off to where we can get out of the oppression. And then these other motherfuckers that were fighting for the oppression join the oppressors, and then they come back doing the same goddamn thing, only worse. It's just a circle suck of bullshit, you know, and it's all doomed to destruction because no one will give it a chance to live. And then all the kids go back to Baby, Won't You Light My Fire, and all those programs that are set in those heads all start going crazy. After you go through all these different levels and you come out and you see God in you, and God is all around you, and God is everything, and you are everything, and everything is a part of you, and then you say this, and you know this, and you feel this, and you have this in your soul and in yourself, you dig? And it just scares the shit out of everybody, and everybody gets to running, and they get to hating you, and they think you're bad, and then they want to kill you because they feel if they kill you, then they don't have to think about this anymore because they don't want to face this level of reality. They don't want to see that everything that they know is just crumbling before them, and they have no thoughts in their minds, that their minds wasn't really their minds anyway. It was just a reflection of somebody else's mind. It was a reflection of somebody else's mind. If you wasn't in behind a mirror somewhere, there was going to be no life left in that perspective because it was all going just totally fucking insane. All the yippies were hippies that didn't want to stay with what they were saying. They were saying they wanted this change and they wanted to stop the war, and all the Joan Baez's and all the motherfucking Patty Hearses and all them fucking asshole bitches that in the movies like that, Jane Fonda and all them fucking dizzy-ass fucking witches, they wanted to change the world, but when the children that were living up underneath that dogma turned to change the world, then they fucked up and said, well, that was all Charlie's fault. Charlie did that. Charlie got all those children in trouble. He brainwashed all those children to do that, but Joan Baez and all them Nancy Sinatra and all them ass witches, these boots are made for walking all over your ass, you dig? So then they come back with all that motherfucking horse shit and say that I was the brainwashed capital of the world when they were doing that long before I came on the set.
I was a beatnik, not a hippie. I was playing bongos down in Venice Beach and smoking grass in 51, 52. I pitched horseshoes with Frank Costello in 1952, Lewisburg, Pennsylvania.
Possible.
I run out of the barber chairs in Cleveland, Ohio. I played drums with Montagna in Santiago. I ran with a vato named Jesus. He spelled his name Jesus. He was Panamanian, you dig? We called him Zero. And they said that was me because they hooked it on me and said, we're looking for Jesus. The cops made a joke about it. We're looking for Jesus. And they said, are you Jesus? I said, no, my name is Manson. They said, oh, that's what we thought. Manson, son of man, you're him. I said, him. And then they made a joke out of it. You know, then when they booked me in for arson, for burning up them tractors out there and trying to put the water back on the ground, they come back on me like I had been calling myself Jesus or something, you know. And everybody in the so-called Manson family that you guys gave me after I got busted, which there was no such thing as a Manson family, it was a musical group called Family Jam.
What about Helter Skelter?
That's the district attorney's illusion. That's his trick. That's a reflection of his fear, his sex paranoia, all the games that... But he won that reality for you guys. When he said, I verse
the people versus the people that he represented. He won Helter Skelter as a reality for those people. But that's got nothing to do with me. Helter Skelter was a nightclub in the desert. That's where I run a poker game and I shoot dice. And I make money and I ride around and do buggies. It's funny, they say, you're going to the desert. I said, I was going to the desert? I said, LA's in the middle of the desert. What's wrong with you, dummy? You see, you were going to the desert. How can I be going to where I'm in a conspiracy to go to where I'm standing? You know, it doesn't make any sense, man. I mean, it makes sense to you people. Helter Skelter is just simple, just confusion. That's been happening.
Helter Skelter is what? Race war? How long has there been a race war? How long have we been in race war? English? How long have we been at war with races? Since we come out of the caves and you didn't like Irishmen? It's been a race war. All my life I've been in the middle of a race war.
Why have we been fighting all these years? What have we been struggling for? They always cover it up and never let us really know what the problem is. They'll cover it up with all kinds of confusion and never let the children know what's really going on. They just buy and sell their blood.
How do you have peace on this earth? You can't have peace on this earth unless you let Second World War die. You want to keep the Second World War going? You want to keep selling and buying Germans and dead Indians on TV every day? You know, that's got to stop. The Second World War's got to stop. And it's got to stop in the Jews. The Jews won't let the Second World War stop. They keep the Second World War going. They keep it going. They keep it going. They keep perpetuating it because they're making money. As soon as the Second World War was over, they never stopped the brainwash. The brainwash that they were selling the American public was making money. You see what I'm saying? They were making money. They're not going to stop making money. If the combination's there to make money, they're going to keep selling it.
They'll ride on you till there's nothing left of you and sell your blood all the way. They'll sell war from one door. They'll buy and sell guns out of one door, and the next door, they'll sell love and peace. And they'll agree with everyone and swear to God that everything's just perfect for a dollar bill. They'll go right back into the money, and the money's not their money. Now that they've got their own country, before they didn't have their own country. They didn't have their own money. The only way they could live is in somebody else's economy. They had to scrub for nickels, scrub for dimes, you dig, save every little thing they could get, save every little rag, you dig. They were oppressed, beat, fucked over, misused, and then when they get in an up position, they do the same thing down on other people that have been done to them. It's like a circle of oppression. People become oppressed going one way, and then when they come back, they get oppressed going back the other way.
They'll sell it all the way till I'm in the cell with a guy named Millman, Jerry Millman. And he's got pictures of Hitler and Japanese and things all. I said, boy, Hitler must have been a hell of a guy. He said, Hitler was terrible. I hate him. I hate him. I said, why do you hate him? He said, I'm a Jew. I said, well, why do you enshrine this guy? Is he your daddy? And he looked up to his mother's fear. And his mother's fear was Hitler. Hitler was like his father figure. He loved Hitler, but he hated Hitler. He needed Hitler to hold him up because Hitler was holding his hate up, because without his hate, he didn't exist. He didn't have no reason to live unless he had some hate. He didn't have any reason to buy and sell unless the money held him up. If you took the money away from him, you took the hate away from him, he'd be gone. So how do you communicate to a whole group of people? You stand up and you take the worst fear symbol there is and say, there, now I've got your fear. Now I've got your fear. And your fear is your power, and your power is your control.
You failed to draw the line in your own mind of where your life is. You've got off into where your hate has pulled you off into. You need your enemy to hold you up. You need fear and hate and deceit and lies and confusion to deal with, or other you have nothing else to do. It's doubtful that if Hitler came back that anyone would even know about it in anyone's world except his own. It's doubtful that the unaware would be woke up, or that anybody would be raised from the grave of their own ignorance.
Why are there 20,000 murders a year?
Because the district attorneys are selling your blood, man. You're selling it. You're buying it and selling it. Crime factories are buying and selling crime.
What is a crime factory?
A crime factory is this fucking thing. Here, this is a crime. This is where we create our crime. This is a crime factory for jobs and profit. We can stop the crime.
How?
by stop buying and selling it. If as long as we're selling it, it's going to be there. When you take it, you put up an image, you put this image up, and you say, here, kids, don't be like that. Don't take them red pills, kids. They didn't know there was red pills until you said, no, you can say no. You can say no. And you can't say no. I didn't know I could say yes. Then you come up and tell them, go out there doing them burglaries. You're no good. Get up against that wall and shine a light, scare him up, held him up against the wall, and shake him down and say, we know you're out here doing these burglaries. And then these guys are practicing all this macho John Wayne trip, you dig? And then the kid goes, woo, and he runs off and does whatever they're programming him to do. See, there's a reverse side of everything, too. There's a positive and a negative. You put right, take right, put it right on the wrong side. And then everybody's following it right into the wrong. And all the kids are growing up following this right into the wrong. And the kids are going to get through. When the wave comes in, the wave goes out. And each time the wave comes in, the wave goes out. And you're all going to get the reflection in the mirror that you put in this child here. The government's not working. The system is not working. And they won't admit it. They think building more prisons is the solution. Building more prisons just adds more confusion to the problem that's already at hand.
It's like a cake that you got that's turned bad. You got to cut some of it off the edge. So which edge you going to cut? You got to cut the edge that's holding the deception, that's holding the lies, that's holding the confusion, that's holding the brainwash. And any man, any person with any mind at all, if you break it all down and boil it all down, what does it boil down to? The people that are rolling your money. The people that are controlling your money, the people that are in control of your media, the people that are controlling your music, the people that are in control of your books, your mind, your legal perspectives. They're in control of your judges. They're in control of your courts. They're in control of your lawyers. They're in control of your mind. They're charging you rent to live in your own brain. The graveyard is the only thing that's worth a fuck. The rest of it is a bunch of horse shit. You just run around chasing a little ball up and down the damn field as if that had something to do with something.
Stop cutting the children out of your life by telling them, get off the phone, don't do this, you can't hear that, hide this from them, hide that from them. They got to find it sooner or later, one way or another. You did, didn't you? And you found it to be so goddamn miserable when it got to you because someone had hid it from you. That's why you got in the mess that you're in, because someone hid the truth. As long as you do the same, you're stuck in that frame.
The premise of your reality sets in the judges' benches, man. The judges' benches represent crime. The police they do the will of the judge. The attorney general does the will of that. The governor does the will of that, all the way up through the Pentagon, all the way up to where the bombs drop off on the rice farmers. It all starts down here in the courtroom. Charles Older, my judge, who was a flying tiger in the Second World War, Reagan's appointee. I wonder who's got my horse now. Or where did the gun come from that killed that people? Did you know that was Ronnie Reagan's gun? You didn't even know that, did you?
What do you think of Vincent Bugliosi?
Bugliosi's a machine. He's a well-programmed machine. And he made himself a big lot of money. You don't realize how much money he made. You'd be very jealous if you knew how rich that guy was.
What do you think of him in substance, though?
In substance, he's mother's perfect child.
What do you mean by that?
Well, he's done his lessons real good. He knows all the books real good. He's right down to the last little decimal. In order to talk to him, you would have to make it so. I couldn't talk to that dude because I'd have to make it so complicated.
They did anything they want. In other words, a DA, like they'd be talking a lot of shit. I'd say, why are you prejudicing the people with that? He said, well, we got to do it to write a book. I said, write a book? He said, what do you mean? He said, well, if it goes out through the courtroom, then it's part of the public record, and we can use it to write a book. All them lawyers were doing it, writing books. Every lawyer there wrote a book. Witness to Evil, Five to Die, Susan Haskins' Confession, Helter Skelter. Everybody there wrote a book. They wrote The Family, all them other books that they wrote, Garbage People. All them lawyers wrote books. And I can't get the right help because when I tried to do it, that Emmons run off and wrote his own book. Then he said it was Manson in his own words. It wasn't my words. It was his words. And I've known him for 17, 18 years. And then he got a little bit from other friends of mine. and he just put it together, the rest of it for himself, you know, and made it up.
I was only out 2 years. Now, how the hell am I going to control 35 women in 2 years? I knew Linda Kasabian. I seen her 3 times in my life. Maybe 2 minutes in my whole life I seen the broad. She come up to the ranch for about a week, and she said, hey, my name is Linda. I said, oh, Linda. She said, can I stay here? I said, can you stay here? She said, I'd like to live at the ranch. I said, I'd like to live at the ranch. She said, well, can I stay here? I said, can I fuck you? She says, yeah. And I put my hand up her dress, and I said, yeah, okay, you can stay around. That's the biggest thought in my head was getting at her body. I wasn't thinking about sending her down to be no troops about saving nothing or stopping nothing. If you want to believe what Ed Saunders said in New York and wrote, never even met anybody, and he wrote on the note calling the lawyer down there. The lawyer was feeding him information out the underneath and breaking all the laws and sending him the transcript so he could write a book like he knew everything and everybody, you know. You read a newspaper and you look on TV and then you come and you see me and you want to call me what they told you. And you know that 99% of that newspaper is for money, not the truth. You know that. When they're selling on the UPI and they're making it all over the world, there's a lot of bucks passing hands LA Times. When the district attorney puts the newspaper man right in his office, and then the judge comes back and says, where'd you get your source of information? And he says, I won't tell, because he was getting it from the district attorney's office to start with. But they'll make it look like he was getting it from my side. Then they'll put the gag orders on me and say I'm incompetent. I knew what happened. I could have defended myself, and I could have walked out of the courtroom. But they didn't want to do that, because Nixon would have lost his thought.
Here is a man who was guilty, directly or indirectly, of 8 murders without reason. Here is a man yet who, as far as the coverage was concerned, appeared to be rather a glamorous figure.
I'm guilty of, what am I guilty of? I'm guilty of thinking that I had rights in a courtroom. That's what I'm guilty of thinking. When my fathers died in all them other wars, I thought, man, I'd just stand in the courtroom and tell the judge it'd be all over in 15, 20 minutes. I'm busy. I got some appointments. And it started making money. And when it started making money, whoa, money takes precedence. They're going to put me down on the ground for the money. But when you go to court, they need a conviction. They need criminals, man. They need people to lock up in cages. If they didn't have people to lock up in cages, man, they wouldn't be able to sell more fear to the public. And they sell more fear to the public, and all them old women, they love to buy that fear. The guys you're trying to make me into is impossible. What you're doing is you're creating a legend. You're creating a beast. You're creating whatever you are judging yourselves with into the word Manson. And that's not me at all.
Move on in that dishonest madness that the money pays to perpetuate.
I'm not Richard Milhouse Nixon. I'm Charles Millis Manson. It's the same thing Jesus Christ told Pilate, man. He said, you're blaming me for your problems. You're trying to put the blame over on me, and it doesn't fit.
They want to blame Manson for being the father of their children. The President of the United States is supposedly the father of us all. He's supposedly the leader of... Well, you convict me for the leader of the family and then give Nixon immunity? You know, he killed a lot more people than Charlie did. You know, if Charlie was capable of doing something like that, wouldn't he be better in the White House than Nixon? Nixon wasn't capable of doing nothing but running faces and getting elected like he was doing something. The office is still there. You just keep changing faces with the same old monkey as if you didn't know we were all living in a zoo. Did you think the children don't know? They can't wake up and see that this world has got to change or there's going to be no life left. So the older people don't want to make room for their own children in their own minds, and they would rather give it to some foreign corporation where they're selling their 10-year-old pussy in Hong Kong on the street corner and then buying and selling drugs from the generals and the military in Cambodia, and they want to be the leaders of some Indian in the rainforest.
You've jumped over on the Indian's land, and now you want to know what justice is. Go and ask the Indian where his mind is. And they just keep pouring them over here from Europe on him. Now you got all the Orient coming over here. And what does that do to the reservation? Where's that guy? Does he have any rights at all? Where's our rights? Where's our honor? Where's our world? I got it. Down here at the bottom. There's nobody home. The light's on. The radio was playing, but it's still playing I can still hear 1944. I can still hear 1943. Nothing's changed.
In the United States, when you're running the United States, you ain't running in nothing but con, nothing but bullshit, and nothing but devil. You're running in nothing but demon. The United States of America is the demon of the world.
Do you have any confidence in the world that you were raised in? Do you believe in the people that took you to school and taught you the things that you believe in? When you know the truth is that they're all lying anyway. Even they train Oliver North to get up and lie to the world in the Marines uniform. After the Marines fought and our wars and died for us in all of our battles, then they get some fucking asshole like Oliver North to get up and lie in front of the whole fucking world and then wear a Marine's uniform into court with a lie in his mouth. A real Marine would have knocked his brains out because he had no right in that uniform after lying. When you lie in the uniform, I don't give a fuck what uniform it is. If you lie in that uniform, you're going to lose your uniform sooner or later. Then you can have Wendy Mandela over here telling you how the moon's going to shine with Jesse Jackson when he tells you in church that he's lying and faking and double dealing about some white whore on the goddamn street corner with some black Muslim wearing a white hat talking about he's somebody's daddy and he's the original man. Circumvent biology and chemistry from Norway and find out why the doctor's over there helping those people when he can't even help his own up out of the goddamn penitentiary. Rather than try to put a man on the moon, let's try to put a man down on earth. If you get up and you do a good job, if you get up on the stage and I do a good job and they all, man, would be jealous, they want to get up on the stage and push me off, they'd want to fight me, they'd want to bite me and pull on me and grab me, they want to pull me to pieces and tear me to pieces, man, because they want to be me so bad they don't want to let me be myself. I have to run and hide in the desert.
I will not pretend to wait for you to grow up again. The universal mind, all times wake up, all times. Wake up, all time. Those in the mind who think they have a mind are not in the mind because the mind has no time. The infinite consciousness that lives in the infinite soul carries on from your children and parents to children, and everything you see, all that you hear, everything you're told. And the way you're told it impresses your minds within, and the way you are is what you conceive of with the programming they gave you, giving you all those things they call rules or sins or something later than something other to get in, some insane brain that had thought they had something to hold on to other than truth that exists within the self of each individual in conjunction with the soul and the spirit and life that lives in all things.
I really am stupid. I'm smart in some things, but other things I'm dumb in. I'm a hobo. I just fell out of the penitentiary. I hadn't been out of jail long enough to do anything. I had a motorcycle, a guitar, and a sleeping bag, and a bunch of broads following me around talking about I was Jesus. I didn't invoke any name. They put that on me. The Spirit laid that over on my track. Your courtrooms have convicted me for being Jesus Christ in one courtroom. Well, and then in the other courtroom, you convicted me for being the devil. Now, if you believe in your own courtrooms, you convicted me for being the father of this country. They said I was Krishna Vinta. Krishna Vinta died in Box Canyon in 1949, and they put that cult over on me. That was the cult that was in Box Canyon in 1949 when I was in reform school, 20 years before I even grew up. They put that guy on me and said that I called myself and I stood up on the cross and I did that. I didn't do all that. You're projecting the thought when the DA jumps up and says, hey, this guy did so and so and so forth, and he's booby bob, and that's what that makes me into. That's not what I am, man. That's not me. That's what these fucking ignorant assholes need me to be. He needs me to be violent because he needs his ass kicked. He's begging somebody to kill him, so he needs me to be a killer because he wants to die and go to heaven and be with Jesus.
I think that you are an evil person.
Right, I'm evil. I'm terrible.
You are terrible.
Oh, yeah, I'm awful. I'm awful.
You're a murdering dog, Charlie.
Oh, I'm a terrible dog. I'm a fiend.
You're a mass murdering dog.
A mass murdering dog. And where did you get these ideas?
I guess the evidence.
But does it pay you to say that more? I mean, if I paid you to say the other way, would you walk backwards? Would you want to make me into those things? Would you want me to? Do you need someone like that in your world? That's your judgment now. The judgment you're making on this mirror, man, you got to carry. You want to make me a terrible, violent, no good, so-and-so, and rule around? When actually, in reality, I'm a deadhead, man. I've been dead since 1951. I died in a penitentiary in solitary confinement. Didn't you understand I've been in jail since I was 9 years old? I got nothing in my mind. There's nothing in there. I just go, oh, yeah. Oh, you did that? Oh, well, is that right? You did that by yourself. I learned a long time ago, you can't never tell nobody nothing. And you can't judge nobody else. There's only one person you can judge. I judge me. You have to judge you. I'm whatever you need me to be for you. And whatever you make me is what you'll carry the rest of your life and forever.
You want to see me look in the mirror, tramp, but minus all that confusion you got in your mind.
Is Charlie Manson crazy?
Well, whatever that means. Sure, he's crazy as mad as a hatter. What difference does it make? You know, a long time ago, being crazy meant something. Nowadays, everybody's crazy.
The world of madness is a lot bigger than the world of sane. Sanity's a little box that you walk around in. Sanity's a little world. Insanity's the universe. And if anybody cares, they're considered crazy. I've been 15 years in the nut ward for trying to stop the trees from being cut down, from trying to rearrange a lifestyle of a bunch of people who don't want to change. But they're going to change because the cold wind is blowing. You're going to change or there's going to be no life left on the planet Earth. And then there's a bunch of little people that are always trying to play act some sort of importance over the truth about what is rolling on the planet Earth now. I have an organization called ATWA, Rolling Now, trying to redeem life on the planet Earth from the people that destroy it.
Since the Europeans came to this country, they have cut all the trees, they have butchered all the lakes, they've destroyed all the creeks, everything's turned into cement, they're tearing all the rainforest down, there'll be no wildlife left on the planet Earth.
Years ago, we could cut down trees, and we could afford an exuberant lifestyle. We can't afford that no more. We're running out of atmosphere. We're running out of water. Our water's becoming so poisoned and so polluted, we're not going to be able to drink it. The trees are being cut down so fast, lumber companies are just... The United States is owned by foreign corporations. Nixon opened it up for foreign trade. And when Nixon opened up for foreign trade, the people of Europe and the common market and Spain and different places, they don't care about the United States forest. And in short, the United States has been sold out by people who really don't care for anything but money.
Poor people, the people without education, don't have a chance because we've got all those people from the European markets that our government has sold out to. They've given their companies away to Taiwan, and they've gave their company away to Korea. They've gave their lumber companies to Reverend Sun and Moon. If you cut those trees, your children are not going to survive. And the man said, well, let them worry about that. I need the money now.
They won't give no rights up in their courtroom unless they're scared of you, unless they're afraid of you. If they're scared of you and they think, and you're big and you're bad and you're tough and you got guns, they, oh, well, we like you. You're just a wonderful human being. But if they're not afraid of you and you're poor and you're honest and you're truthful and you got honor, all the honorable people are in the graveyards already. They don't have to worry about no honorable people. They're all dead.
How in the hell can a poor old honest hillbilly get any action going for his chickens and his cornfield and his horses and his cows? Because we got no voice. The people got no voice. The government is supposed to be we the people, but it's not we the people. The government has already been bought and sold. They've already sold our government. Forget Abraham Lincoln, because Abraham Lincoln was not a good guy. J.F. Kennedy was not a good guy. They sold their children for votes. They gave up their morals and their ideals and their ethics for money. They put their whole country and all the value systems of the whole country in money.
The most scurvy motherfuckers you put up on the top.
The public's a bunch of assholes. When it comes down to it, they're for sale. You got a public, their minds are all going one way, their bodies are all going another. The money's going another way. I started a rebirth movement in '67. Everybody else stole it. Carter stole it. Everybody said, oh, this is us. They locked me up and say, oh, this is us. We represent that. You know, I'm important on that, and then they'll want to make their little decision, and they'll say, let me get in there. Because everybody wants in there first. You know how that goes. Starting all over means starting all over. And when you start all over, it's a constant rebirth thing. And it's not going back to Sunday school or with Swagger or Baker or the Pope or the rope soap. That's all dead.
And not in those silly little churches that you people play that 10% to beat somebody out of their tax dollars at 700 Club where the witch paints her face, gives her daughter's ass the garbage can out the back door, and then talks about how much she loves Jesus out the front door for another $1.25. You can catch me on the radio. You can see me in a TV show. You can read a book or play act a crook and find yourself inside me or me inside yourself anyway.
Society wants to die. A car drives down the street, they throw cigarette butts over in the rainforest. They burn up the damn trees just because they don't want to put the cigarettes in the ashtray, and they don't give a fuck. They throw their garbage out on the road. They throw their trash in the ocean. They don't want to get up off the water. You dig? You tell them, man, you're killing us. You're killing your children. And the children are trying to get out from underneath this goddamn bullshit.
And I am moving for Atwa, my air, my water, my trees, and my wildlife in every way I know how, in every way I can. Your justice system ain't working too cool. You know, so I imagine that there'll be another one phoenixing behind, doing what's right. All we're trying to do is do what's right. But doing what's right in a world full of people that don't know what right is, it's difficult because you got so many interpretations and so many different people in different directions. You've got 1,000 Jesuses, you've got 1,000,000 devils, you've got 25,000 Napoleons, you got every kind of insanity going in the world coming. And Atwa also means at war, if you put an R on the end of it.
At war with what?
Pollution. Pollution. A revolution against pollution. Well, when you're cutting the trees down, you're taking my life. When you're polluting the water, you're taking my life.
You've got to stop cutting trees down, period. There's no slack. There's no in-between. There's no controversy. There's no attitude. There's nothing towards it, but you must stop cutting the trees down or we're all going to die.
The reality of the Holocaust is all them dead fish that you see in the ocean. It's when you go over and you see where the forest used to be, there's a shopping mall. Where the lake used to be, there's a goddamn fucking drive-in. Where the freeway is, there used to be a creek and a river. And where prisons are, used to be lakes. So all the prisons are in your lake beds where there used to be. It took nature 50,000 years to put the beginning of a lake here. It took man and the bulldozer 5 years to tear it up. So we're tearing up all the land. We're tearing up all the precipitation. We're eating up all the goddamn fucking resources to where there's going to be no energy. No energy left, no resources left, nobody left.
Man, you're all a bunch of doomed assholes. All you motherfuckers are killing yourselves and you're killing everything around you with the shit you're doing. You're overindulging in the resources. You're dumping all that shit in the water, that pollution in the water, soap in the water, slop in the water, bleach in the water, all that shit you're putting in the water, man, it's got to come back to you in your drink. You got to drink that shit. A dog got better sense of pissing their own water. You got 10 million people pissing and shitting in the goddamn water. It's not a question of whether you want to fix the water. You've got to fix the water. The water's our spirit. The water's our mother. If we don't have no life in the water, what the hell are we going to do with money? What are we going to buy and sell if we got no water to drink?
But nobody gives a fuck about the water. They would rather worry about the money.
Now you try to face it and do something about it or stop it, and then they call you a criminal, lock you up in the nut ward. Do you know how many people have been sacrificed in this very same thought? How many people have jumped up on the freeway and tried to stop all the automobiles, and wounded 8 or 10, 12, maybe 15 people, killed maybe 6 or 7 people, went to court and got the designated nuts and went to the nut ward and hung themselves and died?
And then some fucking dog killed a goose and someone says, let's feed it to him in potato chips.
You've wasted a lot of time, man. And it's your time you've wasted. And you can say that to the rest of them people with them big fat guts that run around talking about the father. They watch the father die in the jailhouse every day and it doesn't matter to them. They pile their enemies on top of their friend. And then when their friend dies, then they go around and try again. Now they can't kill this door, they can't shut this motherfucking door. Now what you gonna do, tramp? You're gonna get up on the motherfucking road sooner or later. That's what you're gonna do. If you don't get up on the goddamn road with it, ain't gonna be nothing left of you.
The only way you can put order into the world, or anything as far as that's concerned, you must take control of it. If you're gonna fix a car, you have to have the car to fix it. If you're going to fix the world, you have to have control of the world to fix it. If the military could wake up, then the military could grab it up and run and take over the whole world. That's the only chance we got of survival, is to pick back up the same thoughts that our fathers had and raise it up from the grave, change the guards, change the guns, stand the men up to attention again, put them out in the field of honor, and start all over again.
You haven't heard some of the things that goes on. Yeah, you don't know about them places. And there's secrets, inner sanctums that you'll never conquer. Never in your wildest imagination will you ever be able to conquer those chambers. Unless you get some help from a power greater than yours. And you know who that is.
The mind is all. All is the mind. And you can't get hooked up with the mind until you get hooked up with the truth. And you can't get in the truth until you establish what is in the know. And being in the know is being in the truth. And if you're not in the truth and you're not in the know, then how in the hell are you going to write somebody in a book or a paper and tell them something other than what you've been educated to program your fucking brain to, man?
There are levels of awareness. And all the masters of the world, like the Lama and the Booby Bops and all them guys, they say there's only 7 levels. But there's 8 levels of awareness. And the 8th level is that you don't tell. You can't tell what the 8th level is because there's only one on it.
I'm your king of this whole planet. I'm going to rule this whole world through Atwa. I want my trees put back. I want my water clean. I want my atmosphere cleaned up. What you do beyond that, I don't care what church you go to or what race you are, what color you are, what and all that nickel and dime personal important trash head stuff. I don't care about that. All I care about is my air, my water, my trees, and my wildlife.
I got a heart bow, mister. Yeah, I got 3 heart bows. Da 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 da. And I got the Lone Ranger, and I'm riding silver. What do you think of that, punk? You and your motherfucking Cadillac wouldn't let me ride. How comes you went over there on that end? What are you really doing? Who are you really? Because you always hide behind people hiding behind the people that's hiding. Are you somebody's maid? Or do you think that you were left in the shade and didn't have to get out where the afraid has to deal with all the things that all you fucking people are scared of? Insanity, because it laughs at you from behind your own eyes. Rubber fingers. Wooden heads, heads of lead, and said, if you don't work now to complete this mission, you will destruct. But if you wish to complete this mission, and you endure to the end, surely you will be saved.
In my Father's house there are many mansions. If it were not true, I would not have told you so. And it's just as true then as it is true now, as it will be true forever and ever and ever. I don't care what the Christians say. Jesus Christ is a reality. And you humans, if you don't get in line with that, goodbye. Because I got biology, and I got chemistry, and I got things beyond the nuclear mind. I won't blow it up. I checkmated that. I got all the bombs over here in the corner. I said, no, I'm not blowing it up. Now the next step of dealing with you suicidal maniacs that won't get up off my life, my air, my water, my trees, my wildlife, my fish, you know, and reaping these thoughts is reaching out into those different chambers of thought and reaping in those heads and readjusting it in through the crosses, because the preachers represent the courtrooms too, and the priest represents the courtrooms. And when those kids picked up the cross, they picked up the cross for a reason. Each one of them had a reason for picking up that cross. One of them was trying to save Lake Mono from extinction. Some of them had something else going. Others was in ecology. A lot of the kids want to stop the war. All the peace movement of the 60s. I come out in 1967. It was already jumping, man. And there was a bunch of kids who were working out their problems for that particular time and that particular space. And each had to do what they felt they had to do for the problems that they were working on, which really had nothing basically to do with me. In other words, if I'm with you, whatever you do is your business. I tell you, if you drink out of that cup, you're going to get so-and-so, and you say, well, roo-roo, and I said, well, that's up to you. If that's what you want. If you go ahead and do it, I mean, that's you. I don't break your will. I'm on the premise of reality. I walk a real road. Tex went crazy, man. He tried to stand up and walk where I was walking. He tried to be a man in a woman's body, and it didn't work too well. And he went out of his mind. As long as I can reach in your mind and control your fear because you're a coward, I'm going to play any game I can play on you all the way to the White House. And then when I take over, I'm going to laugh and say, you were a bunch of weak people. I don't see how you made it this far.
Can I fuck until then? Why don't you transfer me in red and blue into the same cell? Because our minds are hooked up anyway. Hello? Call him Patty. Don't get fat, Patty. You know what I told you. Keep down. Hello, Susie. You still got problems, I see. You always get stuck with the shit, don't you? You always pick up the pit. Now, one of these days, Leslie, one of these days you're going to grow up. When you grow up, you're going to surprise to find you're not there. It was only a reflection of Patty's love. Patty was only a reflection of Mary. And Mary was a reflection of, and that was a reflection of, and this is a reflection of, brought to you by reflections of.
Right now you're coming up for parole. You have the right to come up before a parole board. Do you want to get out on parole?
Parole for what? You give me a parole every other day. It doesn't give me my rights. Why, you would get Amnesty International to take millions of dollars from the United States to help prisoners out of jail in other countries when you got political prisoners right here in the United States that you're overlooking, that you won't accept. You got people all over this country that are in here for political reasons. If I don't have any rights, he doesn't have any rights. He doesn't have any rights, and you don't have any rights. I see Reagan getting up in the United Nations telling the world how human rights are so important and how we should give all the humans rights. And then he turned around and asked him on the darkness side, what about Charlie? And say, oh, well, he don't deserve no rights. Well, if I don't deserve no rights, then who does deserve rights? I didn't break no law. But everybody's trying to crowd me down and push me down and make me into all these little things that they need me to be, and that's not me at all, man. That's not me. I killed nobody.
I broke no law. I didn't even get to put on a defense, man. If I was guilty of something, and after all the pressure they put on me, and they put the medication on me and all the doctors and drugged me up and down the hallways and done everything they could do to kill me, I've had this whole country down on me trying to murder me for all kinds of different, everything they don't understand, what they don't know, what they can't realize. Every little insecurity they got, here they come, bringing it to me. Dig, and I got to carry it on my back. Do you think I would still be here if I was guilty of anything? I've sat in that cell 18 years. If you sit in that cell 2 weeks, you'd be banging your head on the wall.
You're right.
Yeah. You know, so you come and live with yourself in a little old square box for 18 years with everybody getting down on you. And they haven't touched me, man, because I know what I did. I don't break laws. I make laws. I'm the lawmaker. I'm the one that laid the track down. They drive the train. I lay the track. I make the laws. If I take this chair and I knock that light down, I'll make a whole new procedure with it.
Yeah.
I make the laws from here. I'm a whole institution by myself now.
Yeah, I know.
They won't let me go because they need me to hold their brains up. People are scared and they use me as an excuse. They're afraid of what they don't understand, what they don't know.
How do you stay in touch with the world outside the prison to know this?
I'm thinking the world outside the prison. The judge represents me. I stand in the courtroom. The judge represents me. The lawyer represents me. The attorney general represents me. They represent me. The whole thing represents me. My fathers died in the Second World War for my rights, and I didn't get them.
What are you asking for, a new trial?
I'm new. I haven't got the first one yet. These jealous snake that's on top of me are lacking in manhood. So they don't want nobody like me to live. They do their damnedest to kill me every day they get the chance, you know. You take 20 years, 250 district attorneys, 5,000 policemen, everything the news media has got. You put it on one person. And then you come to me and say, explain it away. How can I explain away all the misconceptions in 2 or 3 minutes or 5, 10 minutes? Give me a trial in a courtroom. Give me my rights in a courtroom. Had you let us put on a defense, we could have explained to you why it happened. I didn't have anything to do with killing those people. I was involved in the episode that was surrounding that. I was involved in changing the world for Adwa. I was involved in all the things I was involved in. I was involved in a music group called The Family. I was involved with a lot of different people doing a lot of different things, but directing someone to go do something like, that's.
I appreciate those kids, man. I thought they did right. I thought they did good. I really did. They sacrificed themselves and gave themselves to stop a war that they didn't want to be responsible for. You know, they did what they felt they had to do. And I didn't say they was wrong. You know, I didn't judge them. I just walked along with them, man. I was their friend, and I was their brother, and I'm still their friend and their brother, you know.
Guilt? The hell is that? I don't have any regrets. I don't, it's foolish to regret and think about something that it doesn't change. Nothing, you can't change anything anyway. I mean, how are you going to change yesterday? Yesterday's gone. You let it go, man. You don't hang on to it and drag it down the road in a sack. I see blood in here every day. Every day someone's getting shot, someone's getting cut, someone's getting beat. I've lived in that all my life, woman. That don't wrinkle up my forehead. You can pile out 100 dead bodies up in front of my cell, and it don't set me to do nothing. I don't know how to deal with this sorry thing, Guy. They keep asking me about this remorse thing. I don't have a mind that way. My mind is what works. I understand procedure. I understand war. I understand rules, the regulations. I don't understand sorry. I've been sorry all my life. I was sorry I was born, is what my mother told me. I've been at the bottom of this pile as long as I can remember. Everybody's had permission to bite any part of me they want to chew up. Do you feel remorse that every day of my life you tormented me with these idiots that you got holding me down? That you beat me and knocked my jaw out, you forced me medication, you've drugged me up down hallways, you hit my head on every chopping block in the state of California. You've poisoned me, you've done everything. I've puked blood for months and days, man. You've done everything you could do to get me killed, and then you turn around and ask me, do I have any remorse? I hurt. I've been beat with the leather strap.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry because I'm hurt, or I'm sorry because, why did I get beat? I don't even understand why I got beat. I just got beat. Why am I getting beat? Why are you got me in a cell? Why can't I wear clothes? Why can't I do like other human beings? Why do I have to be? Why am I into this? I'm asking all these whys to myself as you ask those whys to me.
See, I don't have access to this phone like I should. In other words, I only got access to this phone just a little bit. And then when I do get on, then I got some monkey-headed motherfucker cutting me off all the time.
The only time I can get unhandcuffed is when I'm here with the media. I've been 20 years in handcuffs, if that makes any sense to anybody in this world. 20 years in handcuffs, so he can play daddy, to you. I mean, get off that trip, get up off of me. I've spent 23 years in a solitary cell, and even on Devil's Island, you didn't keep anyone over 5 years. You've broke every record that they've ever set on the planet Earth. You only kept Christ on the cross 3 days.
Put your fucking neck in there. Yeah, and you'll think about what you did to me, buddy. I'll bet you remember one thing. I bet you'll be there for always. And it'll chase you until you get your motherfucking shit right. You know goddamn well you ain't been right every goddamn day you've been dealing with me now since 1969, little witch.
It's gonna be better for all. You let me get on down this fucking hallway and quit playing this bullshit off, because I really got nothing to do. I want to walk around and shovel out the barn. I'm getting tired of playing with you.
Any level you're dealing, I got to dance in the game for it, because I've been through all that insanity. If you want to give me my rights, then you get your authority back in your judge. If you don't want to give me my rights, then there ain't going to be no rights. And if you don't want any rights, that's okay too, because I never had any rights anyway.
If you say something they don't want to hear, they'll lock you up in the hole and accuse you of scaring them. So all these fucking guys, all these people that work in the administration and the law procedure, they don't have any fucking idea what's really going on, because you can't tell them what's going on, because their minds can't even deal with what's going on. So you have to say, hello, Mr. Joe, how you doing? Sure look good today. How did you do that? Well, aren't you wonderful? You're just such a beautiful guy. You think, oh, I noticed you gained a little weight. How's the wife? You can't tell them that they're out there in the bushes just taking it off and doing what the fuck ever they want to do when no one's looking. You can't tell them that they're turning out books and matches and people are getting out and just setting this motherfucker on fire because they won't get right in the basement, you dig? And then when Rodney King jumps up and sues Gates, then Gates jumps over and says, well, at least we got Manson locked up. And he finds reassurance in me being destroyed every day. And he finds reassurance in cutting my fucking nuts off every day, like that's going to help him. He's cutting his own fucking stupid fucking balls off, ignorant asshole. They wanted to write me up and put me in the hole, and the guy said, well, what has he done? He hasn't done any wrong. Well, there must be something wrong here. We just don't know what it is. He can't do that. O.J. does it. Everybody else gets to do it. Why can't he do it? Well, he can't do it because and they don't know why. It's just, I can't do it because no one wants to let me live.
And you're either going to have to give me my rights in a courtroom, or you're going to have no courtroom. They crowd me and I got this little space. My life is bigger than this little space. What prison? You got a prison in your mind? You see what I'm saying? You're in prison, son. You're the one that's in jail because you think there is such a thing as a prison. You're in jail. You're in prison, man. These guys here are in prison. I'm not locked in dollar bills. I'm free, man. I'm free. I'm sitting in a line. The guy comes up, draws a line, and says, you're in prison. I said, oh, I'm in prison? He puts up a big gate and says, you can't get out. I said, oh, I can't get out? He says, yes. And then they dress up in uniforms and walk back and forth and have little passes and paperwork and things, and I look at them and they say, we're keeping you locked up. I said, oh, you are? I didn't have anything else to do anyway. The only thing you got me locked out from is my guitar. And whoever got my guitar, and whoever's taking my guitar, and whoever's keeping my guitar, I swear to God, There'll be nothing left over that. Because I've earned that guitar 2 times up over your head, Chop Chop.
They let me touch it every once in a while, but they don't want me to play. It's like everybody wants the attention. I don't want the attention. I just like to play music. I'm treated here differently on different levels. The first level is pretty good. The younger men they got a lot of respect. The fat ones and the ones that hide around the corner, they're sloppy and they lie and they're incompetent. But there's a lot of good ones. It's like any other place, man. There's good and there's bad.
What do you want people to remember you as?
Will there be any people to remember?
Write me your epitaph.
See, all that is in your road. I don't even live in that dream. Dreams of living and dying they don't hold any substance. You come to the cell and you go in and you find Jesus or you don't. You either find Jesus or you run with the devil. And at night when I sit in that cell, man, God, I'm up in them golden arches and I'm flying. And I go anywhere and do anything I want. I go out in the desert and I walk around. I did a crazy thing. I planted some fig trees, and I didn't know fig trees take 2 trees. Did you know that? There's male and female trees. I didn't know that. I was planting fig trees, and every water hole I'd go would plant 1 tree. And I figured 1 fig tree at this water hole would be just right for the water hole. But then I come to the gym, I looked in the book and find out, man, you got to have 2 fig trees to have fruit. So I got a whole bunch of water holes out there with 1 fig tree planted. I got some power wagons out there.
You leave your body?
I'm out of prison. I get out every day. I get out in these guys every day. I get out. I'm everywhere. You're going to lock everywhere up. I'm everywhere, man. I'm all things. I live in the desert. I live in the mountains, man. I'm big. My mind is big. I'm cutting the water off for L.A.
Why are you doing that?
Because
you don't like L.A.
They've been lying. See, here's the thing, New York.
What's that?
It's all right. I can understand the game. And I can't blame you for doing what I would do, and I'm most done, I've done just about everything.
I heard that.
So I got no judgments. You dig what I'm saying? But when you get to stepping over on my toes and breaking my legs, why do you feel the need to get down on me? Is that going to make you look any bigger? What if I just jumped on you and beat the dog shit out of you? Would that make you feel any bigger?
You would have to have 3 friends your size to jump on me.
Yeah, you're a dreamer. Yeah, you're a dreamer. This interview was a piece of shit, man. We could have did a hell of a lot better, guys.
God damn, what are you talking about?
We could have.
You should be a media critic, naturally. Let me put this in my pocket.
Media critic?
Tell me about the 50 million hogs again, Charlie. You want to kill 50 million people to save the tree?
Oh, come on. You see what I'm saying? All you're doing is you're looking for blood. You're looking for fear. You're looking to sell death. I killed everybody since day 1. I've murdered them all. I'm God and I've killed everybody. Now what? Well, I'll let you think on that one.
I'm over here in your mind. Did you listen to that? Yeah, I listened to it. What did you think of it?
I don't know what to think of it.
Elvis Presley was only the shadow that was playing up over somebody that was dying in a hole down in Brushy Mountain, Tennessee. Or someone that was over in the solitary confinement you see what I'm saying? In other words, the real Humphrey Bogart and the real James Cagney are actors. I mean, the ones you know. The real ones, they died in here. In other words, we die so that you guys can play actors. In other words, we got to be the bad guys so you guys can be the good guys, you dig? But in reality, we know that you're not the good guys, that you guys are worse than we are. I got to carry the motherfucker while this fat sack of shit won't let me call my old lady. Let me use that trash can down there, unless you want to pass a rule against that. Everything I do, they make a rule against it, see? If I wanted a bucket of shit, they'd tell me no, you can't have, and they'd pass a rule saying no buckets of shit, man. No matter what I want to do, they want to keep me from doing it. No matter what I want, they don't like it. The ones that are not with me are not with themselves. I didn't break the law. I got some friends that killed some people, but my friends have always been killing people. I've got a lot of friends that are very terrible people to other people. I'm not your leader. I'm not your follower. Take the most holy man they got, you dig, and treat him as worse as they can. degrade him, drag him through all kinds of shit, spit on him, cuss him, just do everything, and then turn around and go to church and worship him on Sunday and think you're going to get away with it. Don't work that way. If you want to interview me, why don't you go talk to the DA? Maybe he can make up some more lies for you, some more stories for you. You, Neil Diamond, Buffalo Springfield, Beach Boys, all them guys came to me, you dig, and you said,